Hello, my name is Tanzil. Today I will be presenting an analysis of the effectiveness of the World Trade Organization's dispute settlement system, focusing on how it impacts developing and least developed countries. Through this presentation will all examine key WTO principles and notable cases to understand the system's strengths and challenges. Introduction. First of all, the World Trade Organization or WTO exists to promote fair and consistent international trade practices. One of its primary functions is to provide a structured approach reaching resolving trade disputes through its dispute settlement body or DSB. This system is intended to enforce WTO rules, but it also presents unique challenges, especially for countries with fewer resources. Throughout this presentation, I will focus on WTO principles like national treatment, most favored nations, exceptions, and product standards, exploring how these rules and their enforcement impact various countries differently. National treatment principle. The national treatment principles requires through foreign goods receive the same treatment and domestic goods once they enter a market, thus discouraging unfair discriminations. In Japan, alcoholic beverages, while Japan applied higher taxes to imported alcoholic beverages than to domestic ones. The WTO found this action in violation of national treatment, emphasizing that Japan's policy unfairly disadvantages foreign producers. Critical point. This case underscores how developed countries use the WTO system that challenges trade barriers in other markets. By enforcing national treatment, the WTO promotes equal competition. Although enforcing it can sometimes limit a country's ability to protect local industries. Reference WTO affiliated body report Japan alcoholic beverages to WTDSB ABR 1996. Most favored nations principles. The most favored nations are MFN principle ensures that trade conditions offered to one WTO members are extended to all members equally. In European communities, bananas, the EU granted preferential treatment to bananas from farmer colonies, disadvantages letting American exporters. The WTO ruled that this violated MFN by creating unfair advantages. Critical point. While the MFN principle aims to promote fairness, developed countries which often have diversified export bases leverages it to access various markets, something leaving developing countries at a competitive disadvantages. References WTO panel reports European communities bananas WTDS 27R 1987. General exceptions Article 20. Article 20 of the GATT allows countries to enforce measures that might otherwise breach WTO rules if they serve certain policy objectives such as protecting public health or the environment. The U.S. shrimp cases illustrates this. The U.S. restricted imports to protect endangered sea turtles. While initially ruled against, the US modified its policies to meet WTO standards and was eventually able to maintain the restrictions. Critical point: the case is shows how Article 20, Article 1010 or 20 can be a valuable tool for environmental protection, but it also reveals total points. US modified restricted protected sea while initially ruled against, the UCL modified its policies to meet WTO standards and was eventually able to maintain the restrictions. Critical point: this case shows Article 1010 or 20 can be a valuable tool of environmental protection, but it also reveals limitations for developing countries which may struggle to enforce similar standards due to resource constraints. References: WTO Appellate Body Reports, US Shrimp WTDS 58 ABR 1998. Technical barriers to trade and product standards. The TBT agreement allows countries to establish standards to protect public health, safety, or the environment, but these standards should not be create unnecessary trade obstacles. In EC asbestos, the European Union banned asbestos product, citing health concern. Canada challenges this, arguing to it was a trade barrier. It was a trade barrier. However, the WTO upheld the EU's ban. Critical point: this cases highlights the balancing act between legitimate health concern and trade conditions and trade restrictions. Product standards are essentials for safety. Developing countries something lack the means to comply with strict standards set by their national, putting them and at disadvantages. Reference: WTO Appellate Body Report EC ASBATS WTDS 135 ABR 2001. WTO dispute resolutions process. The WTO dispute resolutions process, known as the dispute settlement understanding, consists of several stages: consultations, panel formations, appellate review, and implementations. While the process provides a structured means of addressing trade issues, it is highly resource intensive. Developed countries benefit from this structure as they can support the legal and financial demand involved, while smaller economies often struggle. Critical point: this disparity means this will be the dispute system provides binding resolving resolutions. It is often more accessible and effective to countries with extensive resource, reinforcing inequality within the system. Impact: developed countries such as the United States and the EU are often the primary user of WTO dispute system. They have the resource to initiate and defend cases, often achieving favorable outcomes. For instance, the US frequently leverages the WTO to ensure its market access is protected. Critical point: The clear advantage is held by developed nations is accessing the dispute system can exacerbate power imbalances as they can use WTO mechanisms to open markets while protecting their own industries. Impact on developing countries. Developing countries face challenges in the WTO dispute settlement process due to limited resource and legal expertise. expertise. However, cases the Brazil retreated tires tires insulate illustrate that with strategic use of WTO exemptions, developing nations can protect their own interests. Brazil invoked Article 1010 Article 20 to justify restrictions tire imports due to environmental concerns. Critical points, although successful, this case highlights the rates occasions where developing countries can engage effectively in WTO system, which usually requires significant resources and strategic planning. References WTO. Appellate body report Brazil reiterated tires WTDS 332 ABR 2007. Impact on least developing countries LDCs. LDCs for LDC face even greater challenges in engaging with the WTO's dispute system. Many lack the resources to file or defend the cases and often rely on alliances with other countries. For example, Bangladesh limited capacity to challenge tariffs barriers demonstrates these constraints, which can leave LDCs dependent on external assistance or vulnerable to strong economies. Critical points, this highlights significant issues with the WTO dispute system it inherently favors countries that can afford to engage with it, leaving LDCs unable to protect with their interests fully. Conclusion: the WTO disputes settlement system is a powerful mechanism for enforcing trade rules, but its effectiveness varies significantly across the countries. Well developed countries benefit from their ability to navigate and utilize the system. Developing countries and LDC often faces considerable challenges due to limited resources. The current framework, through structured reinforces existing inequalities and suggests a need for reform, making dispute resolution more accessible, could improve the WTO effectiveness and fames. Reforming the dispute settlement system to better accommodate developing and least developed countries would enhance inclusivity and equity in global trades. Closing remarks. Thank you for your attention. This analysis underscores the value of the WTO in fostering fair trades and the importance of the making its mechanisms more inclusive for all members. Here is a list of all references in Oscola format for slide number 13. Reference WTO, understanding the WTO, 5th Eden WTO publication 2022. WTO appellate body reports Japan alcoholic beverage to WTO DSB ABR 1996. WTO panel reports European Communities Bananas WTDS 27 R 1997. WTO affiliate body reports US shrimp WTDS 58 ABR 1998. WTO affiliate body reports EC asbestos WTDS 135 ABR 2001. WTO dispute settlement understanding on rules and procedures governing the settlement of disputes in 1995. Bust March L and Reinhardt Erich developing countries and GATT WTO dispute settlement 2003. 37J World Trade 719. WTO affiliate body reports Brazil reiterated trials WTDS 332 ABR 2007. Bound Chad P participations in WTO dispute settlement complainants interested parties and free riders 2005 19 to World Bank Economic Review 287. WTO the future of the WTO addressing institutional challenges in the new millennium 2005. Thank you very much.